Alright guys, so my latest addition is the ROTOPAX cans to the bike. Not the easiest thing in the world to fit, but they're pretty nice cans. I watched one or two videos. One video I watched, I don't remember the guy's channel name, but I'll put it up on the screen here. He's the only one that I've seen put ROTOPAX onto a Himalayan, and he made a good video. My video is a bit different. Mine's step by step, and it took a good bit of time to make the video, but I like doing this sort of thing, a bit of engineering type, if you can call it that. You would think it would be really easy to attach the whole system to the bike, but it really isn't. And the reason behind that is there isn't a back plate available on the market that I know of that will attach to the Himalayan, and you can then attach the ROTOPAX equipment too. That doesn't exist. So as far as I am aware, I mean, it may do in time. When you're watching this video it may do, but as of right now, when I'm posting this video, that doesn't exist. So what I did is I got the back plate, the same back plate as a couple of other of you guys have used, and I adapt it to work with the ROTOPAX, and it works out good. It's, you know, I'm happy with it. It's worked out just fine, but it was a fair bit of work, and there is no step-by-step videos on it. So although this guy's video is a real good help, but it's still not step-by-step. So there you go. I made a step-by-step video. It'll bore the hell out of a lot of you that aren't interested in that kind of thing. So this video is a long ass video, and it's I designed it to help people that are going to fit this ROTOPAX system to the Himalayan. And some people watching that have got other bikes, it's going to come in useful for them also. But if you're not fitting ROTOPAX and not interested in watching a guy drill holes in bits of metal and shit like that, then this video is not going to be for you. So don't bother watching any further, because it's a long ass video, like I said. But they're on. I'm happy. Here's the video. Oh yeah, one more thing. They're not just on. That's full of gas, and this one's full of water, and it does alter the characteristics of the front of the motorcycle. That's for sure. So it's not bad. I'm just getting used to it. And that's with 1 gallon cans. There's a bunch of you guys out there running around with 2 gallon cans on, and 1.7 gallon, 2 gallon. I mean, that's double the weight that I'm running with. So that must alter the characteristics somewhat. Yeah, here's my knees on there, if you can see down there. So that's pretty good. Actually, my legs do tend to move forward a bit, but my knees don't touch these bars or the can. If I had bigger cans on, I can't say, I don't know. But with these, not a problem. I got the ROTOPAX gas can, 1 gallon gas can, that's what I chose. And I also got the 1 gallon water to mount up on here, something like that. But I got the ROTOPAX system. I did look at the cheaper ones, and to be honest, the gas cans looked okay. I specifically wanted gas and water, because where I go, I'm up mountains, heading off into the desert and stuff, and water is as important, if not more, than gas for me. these things hold 4 gallons at a days. So I figure, I mean, I'm only carrying this as a safety measure, as a backup. And if I have to use it, it's because basically I've fucked up and not got gas when I should have, or I've got a gas leak or something like that. But the water, yeah, like I say, deserts, all that, don't really need to say any more about that. Really need water with you. Also, I do a lot of camping, so it's real handy for the camping. Now if you're choosing the ROTOPAX, which you're obviously interested in it, or you wouldn't even be watching this video, you're gonna need the system to mount it. Now, what ROTOPAX have, they have 3 different systems. They have the cheap standard one, the deluxe one, and the one with the lock. And this is how they come. A little bit of instructions there. You got a backing plate. This backing plate there, and you get a bag of nuts and bolts. They're steel, they're not stainless steel, and you get your mounting system thing here. I think that's made of anodized aluminum, and there's a couple of bolts on the back there. And I went for the deluxe one, because if you go on the ROTOPAX website, watch their video of the choices, the 3 choices you have. I preferred this. Just look better, and it's with the deluxe model. I know I can get the extension if I wanted to double up on the cans. That's also an option. You can go too deep on the cans, you know, that way. Mounted on there if you wanted to, or on the back of your bike, or wherever you're mounting them. I'm just mounting them here because the Himalayan has this perfect frame here to mount it on. I mean, it'd be silly to mount it anywhere else. So that's what I've got there. But to mount the ROTOPAX, to mount this ROTOPAX mount, you need another mount to attach on here, and underneath here there's 4 nuts that are welded on there, and you can bolt a system on. And there's not a lot of options that I could see. I looked at the ROTOPAX stuff and I nearly went for the L bracket, but I know it would need modifying to put on this, and in fact everything I've seen needs modifying to put on this. I did what a couple of you guys have already done, and went to these people, Enfield Accessories, and I'll show you what I got from them. I got 2 plates that just basically has a right angle in it, and a lot of nuts and bolts and bits of plastic in there for mounting. Now these plates, I didn't realise before I ordered, they're not made for the ROTOPAX. They're made for using those D brackets, what do you call them? D bolts, U bolts, you know what I mean. They're made for the cheap cans. If I could have got my hands on one of these just to look at, I would have made my own bracket for sure. Because these things are expensive. I'll put the price of everything on the screen there. Yeah, these things are pretty expensive. I mean, they're nicely made, but they're not made for the ROTOPAX. And if you're curious about all of this hardware that you're going to attach to your bike and wondering how much it all weighs, here's how much it all weighs. Let's go take a look at what all this stuff weighs. Now the gas can, that weighs on its own 2 pounds 5.1 ounces, and the water can, that weighs 2 pounds 1.5 ounces. So the water container is a little lighter than the gas. But let's add up everything we're going to be adding onto the bike just to carry this stuff. So we've got the 2 cans. We have the 2 deluxe mounting hardware, the 2 brackets that go with there, the 2 packs of nuts and bolts, and the 2 stainless brackets to fit all that onto, and the nuts and bolts that go with that. That comes in at £8, 4.2 ounces. Now when you add on the weight of a gallon of water is about just over £8 basically, 8.4 pounds it is, and the weight of a gallon of gas is around £6. Weird that it's lighter, but it is. And we're talking US gallons, because these are made in the US, so presumably they're designed to take US gallon, which is a little less than the imperial gallon in the UK. So when the total weight altogether, if the water is full and the gas is full and all of the hardware, that comes to £22 and 9 ounces. Alright, so this is the stuff that I have to use. I'm going to adapt it, I'm going to make it work. This is how I'm doing it. I don't think there's a right and a wrong. There's probably some ways are better than others, but you make up your own mind. This is just what I'm doing. Alright, let's get cracking. Now underneath here is where that's going to fit, and there's 4 bolts just like that have got to go on there. Now I've just took a quick look at it. The threads are awful, basically. To put it politely, the threads are awful. It's awkward. They give you tips. I'm not really even bothering with the instructions. They give you tips of how to handle it. I'm just going to go the easy way. Remove the tank. Remove the fuel tank. If you don't know how to remove the fuel tank, I got a video. I'll put a link in the description, and you can follow that. It's not difficult, and it's something you probably ought to learn to do anyway. So to get in here with tools, it's really tight. Remove the tank. At least that's what I'm doing. Alright, before I take the tank off, this is my little waxed canvas and leather tool roll. This is my main tool kit that I carry in the Himalayan. I carry this in one of the panniers. Really good kit. I've not done a video on it yet. I probably should do. If any of you are interested, I will. If not, then I won't bother. But I'll put a link in description where you can get this toolkit. Not the toolkit, just the roll. I mean, put your own tools in it. So this is where the bracket goes on here, and there's 4 bolts there supplied. And I'm just pre-threading them. I'm just checking that the thread's working good on them. I know some of the threads, which other bit? Some other part of the bike I was working on, the threads weren't cut very well really. So, I mean, this one here, one of these is stiff, but once you get the threads working and you get it moving, it's fine. And like I say, look at that, and turn that one by hand almost. So it'll just save you time later on. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do this if the tank was still on. Well, you can do it obviously, but just easier with the tank off. But I do recommend, if you are removing the tank and you've never done it before, do it when your tank's almost empty. You know, it's a lot easier to handle it, and it's a lot safer too. And really I recommend, if you're removing the gas tank, do it outside or have lots of ventilation, you know. I got a big fan blowing over there in the workshop, just because you're going to get a bit of fumes, and it's better to get them out. You don't want fumes in your workshop. Not gas fumes anyway. Alright, so that's what I'm doing there. These can be real tight to get going, and what happens is that at the factory the nuts are welded on there, then they spray paint. So these bolts are having to cut through spray paint that's inside the nut. So you're kind of like using tap and die. You're sort of cutting the thread in there. So you take a gentle, and I spray a bit of lube in there. I like to use this stuff because it's dry. So it's not going to attract dirt and all that, but it gives lubrication. Like this one here, you can see I'm just starting to thread it. It's tight, and if you're not careful, you could mess up your threads or snap a bolt. So just take it easy, and you'll feel it once it's cut through the paint. It just starts going pretty easy. Right now, yeah, I'm through the paint, and now we're going good now. And what I'm going to do is I will back the bolts off, but I will leave them in position, so when I mount the bracket I know that each bolt is good with the corresponding nut. Alright, so this is what you get with the ROTOPAX Deluxe mounting system. You get the two bolts that you bolt through the plate onto the back. So this is mounted onto the bike, and you got to attach that to it. Okay, so you have to attach this backing plate, and this has not been drilled for this. Like I said, it's been drilled for the D bolts, for those cheap systems. So I have to adapt this to fit this, and this is how I'm gonna do it. These used to be just bare stainless steel, and now I don't know if they're powder coated, or looks like they might be powder coated, but they're still stainless steel. And if you don't know how to check stainless steel, good quality stainless steel with high chromium content, easiest way is with a magnet. See, I got a magnet the backing plate for the ROTOPAX Deluxe doodad. The backing plate for all of the ROTOPAX stuff is just ordinary steel. Magnet sticks to it. If you want to know if something's good stainless steel, magnet will not stick to it. There's a market out there for somebody to make a bracket that fits the ROTOPAX. I don't know why ROTOPAX aren't doing it themselves, but maybe they will. But right now you have to adapt stuff yourself, or get a mechanic or someone to do it. Alright, let's get cracking. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in the center here to attach to this, but I don't want it bang in the center. I don't want that. I want it down a bit, because if I do it bang in the center, all of my bolts are going to be from the top half upwards. All this real estate down here be wasted. So I'm going to drill a bolt lower down, so I'm using some of this to spread the forces that are involved throughout this plate. I want to make the best use of the plate possible, because when you're hacking along off-road especially, and the gas in your tanks is flapping about, and there's a lot of weight there. So I'm going to utilize this as best I can. Just finding the center of this plate. Alright, so I've got my center line. I put a mark at the bottom there. That's where I want my bottom bolt to be. Stainless steel is hard to drill, so I'm going on the slowest setting possible, which is the best setting for drilling steel. Alright, so that's that done. Stainless steel is hard as hell. It's a lot tougher to drill stainless steel than ordinary steel, so you need some sort of cutting fluid. I don't like using WD-40, I prefer water or, believe it or not, olive oil. But I mean, if you've got the real good stuff, the good cutting fluid, then great. But if you're making do, oh, there's a helicopter. Sounds like he's going to land in the backyard. Real close, that thing. Alright, so cutting fluid, I just use water. And I use one of these that had sauce in it of some sort. Alright, let's get going. Just a little bit of water does really good. It's pulling out good threads there. And it makes a difference if you're using quality drill bits. Like for this I'm using cobalt steel drill bits. That's the best thing for drilling stainless. Yeah, cobalt steel drill bits. So there you go. I've got my first hole drilled in here. It's just a pilot hole at the minute. Alright, the next step I'm going to do, this hole here is going to be one of my 4 mounting bolts, but I'm just keeping it a small pilot hole at the moment. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to drill a hole in the center of this plate. I'm going to put a hole in the center of this plate and drill through the back plate so I can rotate left and right so I can get the exact position that I want the jerry cans in. I don't need cutting fluid on this plate. It's thin, it's easy to drill through in comparison to the stainless steel. It's hard as hell. This stuff's easy. Alright, just going to drill out this one here so I can rotate the plate here. So I've drilled a hole in the backing plate and I've drilled a hole in the face plate, and I'm just going to bolt these together. Now this is not permanent, this is just so I can get my positioning right where I want it. So I'm going to bolt this onto the bike, and I'm going to bolt this on. I'm going to test the jerry can and see where I want it. See how much easier it is to put this on. If I had the fuel tank on, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd be faffing around for ages. Okay, well we've got it on there, and we're just going to test it. So this is the side I want my water on. Okay. So let's fasten it up. Alright. That's why I wanted the deluxe ones. They're real easy to use. Now you can see, hang on, I'll get you head on here so you can see what I can see. If you can see here, it's out of alignment. Now if I just turn it, that's why I wanted that center bolt, just turn it, that's exactly where I want it. I've got enough room there, I can tie stuff to it. That's perfect. So what I've got to do is try not to move it. Just double check it hasn't moved. Nope, that looks good. this bolt hole here, the big square one, I'm just going to pencil a line in the square. And now I know the centre of that square is where I'm going to drill my first hole. So now I've got to remove this, drill the hole, bolt that one, and then start looking at what the other holes I'm going to drill to strengthen it up. Alright, let's get cracking. Alright, so there's our square mark, and I've just put an X through the corners so I can get the centre. I like to run a small drill through first to get a pilot hole, then move on to your bigger drill bit. See, that's cutting pretty nice, just using water. Once you've done your pilot hole, your bigger hole drills through a lot easier. If you were to just go straight to the big drill, you'd have a lot harder work. Alright guys, so this is what I have so far. I've got my centre bolt. That's a real big help, having that. The bolts that they give you, the company that gives you the stainless, that sells you the back plate, this back plate, they give all these mounting bolts with them, and I'm just going to check if they're stainless. Yeah, they're stainless steel. See, these ones aren't. These ones came with the cans. So, but these ones are stainless, which is nice. All I got to do is I've got this hole drilled. That's the one I've just done. So I could bolt this. I could bolt this into position, and I'm just gonna center punch these and the bottom one. Drill them out, and that's it. That'll be this side pretty much ready. But you do not bolt plate to plate. There's some plastic spacers that go between them, but we don't have to think about that right now, because having the plates back to back is real easy to work on. So I'm going to punch, drill, and get ready to mount it. You just put a little X, it'll give you the center. Alright, so we've got this side is all drilled now, and the bolts that we're going to use, the stainless ones, drop right through there. Yeah, they're a bit long, but there's a plastic spacer going to go between there, and then washers, and then a nylock nut. So should be about right. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounting points, but I've only got 4 of these bolts, so I'll have to find a bolt from somewhere else. Nice to use stainless if you've got them. I don't know. Yeah, I have got spare stainless, so I'll be going stainless all round. Now you've done the hard work of sussing it all out, you can use this bracket as a template for drilling your other bracket. So your second bracket will be a lot easier to do. Should be. Alright, so there's the one that we just did all the drilling on. It looks a freaking mess because there's 4 holes that we don't want, really. It would have been, in hindsight, well, I know the company that do these did it for the cheap cans using the D bolts. It'd be nice if they did just a blank plate with no holes in, so we can cobble this together. But anyway, if you put the plates back to back, now you've got now you know where you've got to drill. Yeah, if you put both plates back to back, you can either just mark with a pencil for drilling your other plate, or what I think is much simpler is just bang a couple of bolts through the original holes, and that keeps these plates perfectly straight. And now I can just go straight to the drill and drill the holes through where I want them, just following the holes we just made. A lot easier doing the second plate. If you don't want this stuff cutting your eyes, get yourself some of these. These things are awesome. They're I'm an old git, so these are safety glasses that have prescription lenses in it, but off-the-shelf prescription, like reader glasses, you know. Amazon, they're cheap, they're freaking awesome. I use these things all the time. Link in description. Alright, so that's what we end up with. Kind of looks like it's been shot with a scatter gun, but but that's because of the 4 holes that are original that we don't need. But there you go, all drilled, just got to fit them. Alright, so now we got to bolt this onto here. I'm going to put it in the vise just because I've got a vise. I'm just going to sit the plate on top and screw the bolts in, but I'm going to, all the weight, everything is going to depend on these 2 bolts. So I'm putting some blue Loctite on there. I want these pretty tight, but don't strip the thread. That's it, that's that bit on there. Now we just got to bolt these 2 parts together. Alright. So I'm going to put in one of the stainless bolts into here, because these bottom 3 holes here, we're not going to be using them. So I'm going into there, put the plastic spacer and just put them together. I'm just going hand tight for now till I get all the bolts and spacers into position. And the idea for the plastic spacers is if you're going off-road, when you drop your bike, this obviously your crash bars you're attaching everything to, so when your spare gas tank, water tank, whatever hits the ground, these plastic spacers, the idea is that they crush rather than bend all of your metalwork, which I think is a pretty good idea. And they're nylock nuts, so I won't be using any Loctite on them, especially as they're, you know, designed to give when you drop the bike, which is sure to happen sooner or later. And there you go. That's what a side view looks like with your spacers in there. I think they're pretty important. You don't want to bolt straight on. So there you go. That's it. That's now ready to bolt onto the bike. And I'm working on the other one. I'll just get the other one together and then I'll bolt them on. So I ended up with 3 at the top one at the bottom, so you load when that's got a full gas can on and it's bouncing around. There's a lot of load there, so I think that load is evenly spread. So it's worth taking your time with this job. Is it an easy job? Hell no. It's not an easy job, but now I've done it once, obviously the second time would be a breeze. But how many of us are going to do this twice? Not many, I don't suppose. But I'm kind of having fun doing it at the same time, you know. But I like this kind of thing. If you're not, if you don't like building things and making things, get somebody else to fit them, because you're not going to have any fun. And if you watch my video of fitting the top box, Farmer Troy was very much right. The base plate is a real pig to drill through on that thing. So this job, I mean, Farmer Troy, I'm sure he'd be fine with it. He's a farmer. All farmers are good with tools and making stuff. But basically, if you don't know one end of a screwdriver from another, steer the hell clear away from this job. And if you don't know who Farmer Troy is, check out his YouTube channel. He's got a Himalayan, and he goes to some interesting places and does some pretty cool stuff, so go check out his channel. This is a look at it from the back. Sorry, I'm sure I'm shaking because it's awkward to get in here, but I'm putting these 4 bolts in at the top here, and they're running real close to the bolts on the back plate there. I mean, it's working out just fine. There's like you can just do it. But yeah, but there you go. I thought I'd show you that. Just stick the washer on your bolt and screw it on in. Now there is once you get this screwed in, bolted up there, the thread will pop out of the top, and you have another nylock nut to put on top of that, so it's really going to be pretty secure, which is nice. I imagine doing this with the tank on probably takes twice as long. It's not a quick job by any stretch of the imagination. Unless you got a guy that's done a couple already, then yeah, he's got it all worked out. But you're doing it as a one-off. Give yourself all day, at least. Well, I'm into the evening now. Now I'm thinking I need a beer just to carry on. And the last thing is just putting the nylock nuts on the back there, and that's good and secure. I like that. Right, well, this is what it looks like all done. Now what I did, they recommend having the cans tilted slightly that way, and that's how I've got mine done. I've got it so I can put a strap through there if I want to. I wanted to retain that use of, you know, I could strap a bag to here. So that's done. Same the other side. It's exactly the same. I've allowed a little gap there so I can play with putting the strap round, and that's it, all done. But of course, these have those horrible safety funnel things, but I got a regular one. just a normal one, just for the gas can. I mean, the water thing already has one, but I can't stand these stupid safety spouts. They're a nightmare. You end up with petrol everywhere, gas everywhere. So that I'll go on the drawer, and I'll be using this one. This is from ROTOPAX. I don't know what they are, 17 bucks or something. Seems a lot of money. You can get 3 for that from elsewhere, but I wanted to make sure that it had the same seal and all that for the ROTOPAX. Yeah, that's what they call it, the conventional spout set. Much better than these stupid things. But anyway, that's the job done. And I was kind of curious, if you didn't want to carry your cans, how would it look? You know, you'd have to take this off. So let's just take that off quickly. And that's how it would be, you know, if you ran without cans. And I don't think that looks too bad. It acts as a buffer between the bike and the ground, and it's solid, you know, that's solid aluminum. So there you go, it's got the plastic spacers in there. The spacers are there for should you crash, and your cans obviously to try and save bending all your metal work. That's what they're for. Basically they crush before your metal does. Pretty good idea, I like that. Right, so there it is. So there it is, job's done, and I'm really glad it's done. But not the easiest job in the world. So if you don't have fun doing mechanic stuff, engineering stuff, I wouldn't do it. Have someone else do it, have a mechanic do it or something, because it would be a lot easier if the mounting bracket was designed to take the ROTOPAX equipment, and it's not. It's designed to take the cheap Chinese stuff, but made in America. It's good quality cans. Apparently people have driven their cars over these cans and they've been okay. So pretty solid, and I can double up on them if I want to, so I could have another 2 gallon of gas or water or whatever I want. So I'm glad they're on there. They're nice, but not the easiest job. So there you go. I just wanted to get that out there, because I don't want anyone struggling and blaming me. Catch you later.
Well, this creature here, funny looking creature, pretty cool actually. What they call them? Hodgie supposedly lives in this lake. Yeah, well, the lake is over 100 foot deep in places. It is over 100 foot deep in places, but I don't know if that creature lives in there. I don't think so somehow.